How legal battles and judicial delays could postpone the Trump documents trial until after the election. The trajectory of the criminal case against former President Donald Trump, once considered a straightforward prosecution, has taken an unexpected turn, meandering through delays, logistical quandaries, and obscure legal arguments that have seemingly commandeered the attention of U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon. Cannon, a 2020 appointee to the federal bench by Trump himself, has presided over the case for nearly 10 months, employing an unorthodox approach characterized by prolonged deliberations on routine legal matters pivotal for trial proceedings. These deliberations, drawn out by Cannon's meticulous scrutiny, raise the specter of a trial postponed until after the November presidential election. The palpable impatience of prosecutors became apparent in recent filings, where special counsel Jack Smith lambasted Cannon's comprehension of the case as fundamentally flawed and devoid of any legal or factual foundation. Smith's team hinted at the potential for an appeal, a move that could further extend the already protracted timeline of the case. Nevertheless, avenues for expediting the process remain elusive, as judges wield considerable discretion in managing their caseloads. Alan Rosenstein, a former Justice Department attorney and professor at the University of Minnesota Law School, observed that trial judges possess substantial authority in such matters, a prerogative evident in Cannon's oversight of this case. The sluggish pace of the Trump prosecution has aroused suspicion among Cannon's detractors, particularly in light of her handling of a separate 2022 lawsuit brought by Trump concerning the FBI's investigation of classified documents. In that instance, Cannon granted Trump's request for a third-party review of the FBI's search of his Mar-a-Lago resort, a decision that was repeatedly overturned by conservative appeals courts. Critics contend that Cannon's actions, whether intentional or not, align with Trump's strategy to delay the trial until after the election, potentially benefiting him if he were to reclaim the presidency. Barbara McQuaid, a former U.S. attorney in the Obama administration, remarked that Cannon's rulings in the 2022 lawsuit have raised suspicions about her motivations, suggesting that her relative inexperience or uncertainty might be contributing to the sluggish pace of proceedings. Similarly, Ty Cobb, a former lawyer for the Trump White House, suggested that the delays have cast a shadow of suspicion over Cannon, hinting at either incompetence or an effort to influence the outcome of the case. In sum, the convoluted and protracted nature of the Trump prosecution, compounded by Judge Cannon's handling of the case, underscores the intricate and potentially consequential dynamics surrounding high-profile legal proceedings involving former presidents. Stuck in legal rabbit holes. Legal experts assert that prosecutors have presented compelling evidence suggesting that Donald Trump violated the law by retaining sensitive national security documents at his Mar-a-Lago club and subsequently obstructing the investigation into their whereabouts. Despite Trump and his co-defendants, who are his employees, pleading not guilty, the prosecution faces significant hurdles before the evidence can be presented to a jury. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, however, has yet to resolve over a dozen motions crucial to the case, leaving legal observers baffled by the extensive workload that remains unaddressed. With the trial scheduled for May set to pass without resolution, Trump has considered leveraging other criminal cases against him as grounds for further delay. Despite pressure from prosecutors to expedite proceedings, Cannon has maintained her pace, asserting that substantial judicial work is ongoing behind the scenes. Amidst a flurry of sealed proceedings focusing on classified information, public visibility of the case has dwindled, with only 2 hearings in March addressing trial scheduling, Trump's attempts to dismiss the case, and his requests for additional government information. The motions awaiting Cannon's rulings include 9 attempts by Trump and his co-defendants to dismiss the charges, invoking arguments such as presidential immunity, selective prosecution, and challenges to the special counsel's authority. Additionally, requests for information from various government entities, including the Biden White House, and pleas to shield certain witness information from public disclosure remain unresolved. Despite criticism of her handling of the case, Cannon has yet to set a formal trial date, prompting concerns about the unusual delays and the judge's apparent difficulty in managing fundamental aspects of the proceedings. The process of filing redacted versions of legal documents has further complicated matters, leading to disputes over public release and impeding progress on major motions. While some delays are deemed typical, particularly regarding the handling of classified materials, debates over procedural matters, including ex-parte hearings and the application of the Classified Information Procedures Act, CIPA, have contributed to the protracted timeline. Aaron highlights the unfamiliarity of many judges with CIPA procedures, which can hinder the efficiency of the legal process. Cannon's relatively limited trial experience, both as a judge and in her previous role at the DOJ, may also contribute to the delays, as she navigates complex legal arguments and procedural intricacies. While progress has been made on certain aspects of the case, unresolved disputes, particularly those involving Trump's attempts to dismiss the charges, have sidetracked the proceedings, leaving observers puzzled by Cannon's apparent fixation on peripheral issues. In summary, the Trump prosecution faces significant delays and procedural hurdles, as Judge Cannon grapples with a backlog of motions and navigates the complexities of handling classified information in a criminal trial. Despite efforts by prosecutors to expedite proceedings, the case remains mired in uncertainty, prompting concerns about the judge's ability to effectively manage the litigation. Overcomplicating things enormously, Judge Cannon's approach to Donald Trump's legal arguments has raised eyebrows among legal experts, hinting at a level of sympathy that some believe is unwarranted. Despite this, Cannon has provided little insight into how she intends to rule on Trump's challenges, except for a hearing in March where arguments were heard on two of Trump's claims seeking dismissal of the charges against him. Court observers were taken aback when Cannon summoned the parties involved in the case to Florida to present their arguments on the validity of the charges. Following the hearing, Cannon promptly rejected Trump's first claim, which argued that the national defense law he is charged under was too vague. However, she left the door open to reconsidering his arguments closer to the trial date, a move that legal experts have criticized as merely delaying a decision. Alan Rosenstein, who served in the DOJ National Security Division during the Obama administration, characterized Cannon's actions as kicking the can down the road, suggesting that she is unnecessarily complicating matters. Furthermore, Cannon has yet to rule on Trump's second claim, in which he argues that the Presidential Records Act, PRA, authorized him to retain sensitive government documents upon leaving the presidency. This claim has been widely debunked by legal experts, including the National Archives itself, which rebuked Trump's interpretation of the law on their website. In a perplexing turn of events, Cannon has engaged the attorneys in a thought experiment regarding what instructions a trial jury would receive if Trump were allowed to argue that he had full authority to retain any documents he chose. This move has left even experienced legal observers questioning Cannon's motives and the rationale behind pushing the boundaries of the case into uncharted territory. Barbara McQuaid, a legal expert, expressed bewilderment at Cannon's handling of the case, describing Trump's legal argument as clearly wrong, and questioning the judge's actions. Despite prosecutors urging Cannon to make a prompt ruling on Trump's claims regarding the PRA, she has yet to do so, further prolonging the legal proceedings. In a recent development, Judge Cannon issued a short order denying Trump's request to dismiss the charges in the classified documents case. While leaving open the possibility for Trump to use the argument that he was authorized to retain the documents under the PRA as a defense at trial, Cannon emphasized that Trump's attorneys did not meet the legal standard to dismiss the charges. She pointed out that the prosecutors did not reference the Presidential Records Act in the indictment against Trump and did not rely on the statute to bring charges. Additionally, Cannon pushed back against special counsel Jack Smith's request for a final ruling on whether Trump's theory could be used at trial, stating that the demand was unprecedented and unjust. She defended the exercise of soliciting hypothetical jury instructions as an attempt to understand the parties' competing positions better in the upcoming trial. The Post-Watergate Presidential Records Act governs the handling of records after an administration ends, including the turnover of presidential records to the National Archives. Trump's assertion that he had ultimate authority to decide which documents are his personal records under the PRA has been met with skepticism from Judge Cannon, who deemed such arguments premature at this stage of the case. While the legal proceedings continue, there are still more than a dozen outstanding motions for Cannon to decide, including several other motions to dismiss the case. The prolonged legal battle underscores the complexity and significance of the issues at stake and raises questions about the efficiency and effectiveness of the judicial process in addressing them.